If you're one of the people that thinks that other people are only Christian because they were born in a certain part of the world, I have a challenge for you. First off, what do you do about all the Muslim converts who grew up in other parts of the world? And secondly, the same argument applies to atheists and people who believe in New Age spirituality. The largest demographic of atheists is straight, white men who grew up in America, or at least a Western country. And same with New Age spirituality. The biggest proponents of that are America and Australia. It's all Western cultures. And then you have people like me who grew up not Christian, in a relatively secular household, surrounded by people who disliked organized religion. And yet I still came to believe in Christianity, even surrounded by people who dislike Christianity. Christianity is also extremely prevalent in Russia, in Africa, and in parts of the Middle East. But regardless of where you go on the globe, most people agree that there's a God, some kind of eternal being to base our morals off of. And by that standard, atheists versus deists, atheists are actually the smaller group that seem to be culturally motivated. Because even if we take all of the theists, actually, you know what? No, even if we take just Christianity and put that up to bat against atheism, atheism is extremely less culturally diverse than Christianity. And it seems to be this echo chamber of somewhat middle class or wealthy white men in Western countries who are promoting this idea of atheism. Now, to be clear, that does not at all by any means make atheism not true. But what that does do is it pushes back on that argument of you're only this way because of where you were born. I'm not trying to dunk on atheists, and I'm not trying to say every atheist is a rich, pious white guy who's got, his underwear in a bunch. But that argument is absolutely useless. That's like saying you're only Christian because the sky's blue. But I would like to give a Christian perspective on that. God's going to judge us based off of what we know. He judges us based off the information that he's provided to us. So an intellectually impaired child who grows up in Indonesia will almost certainly be judged differently than somebody like me who's had exposure to God through the lens of Christianity. But we do see God's truth written on everybody's heart because I believe he endows everybody with that. That's why we have things like charity, love, and compassion and morals, no matter where you go on the globe. And all cultures have longed for some kind of creator since the beginning of time. So the best thing that you can do to share that God with other people is to go love your neighbor, to love God, repent and believe in the good news, and God bless you. Have a good day.